Yeah, everyone, Rock DIY here. If you look up any video on how to remove the front Ford logo, in this case it's a 2021 Ford F-150 Lariat, what you will see is that to get that off involves removing many pieces. In some of these videos, you can actually see where some people have caused quite a bit of damage to their vehicle in the process of removing everything to get to the logo. Now, if you were just to do the tailgate logo, not that complicated, but the front one is pretty complicated because of all the pieces that have to be removed. As far as the tailgate one, I originally put vinyl on it and then didn't like it because it just looked like an oval, plain oval platter. Just looked out of place. So what I ended up doing is removing the vinyl, removing the badge, the logo, and then painting it in. I'll show it in a minute, but I taped off the Ford logo and then painted everything else. I didn't really like the chrome, but it looks better than just being just a flat oval plate. Now, in the case of this front one, I'm going to leave it in place. I'm not going to remove anything. Of course, if you're trying to replace the logo, you would have to do all those things to get to removing the badge. But if you're just going to paint it or use vinyl, there's no reason to go through all that trouble and possibly cause a bunch of damage to painted surfaces and probably break off plastic pieces. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with the back one. I'm going to tape off the Ford, and then I'll tape off everything outside of the oval, and then I will paint it. And then once it's painted and clear coated, I'll go around the Ford with an X-Acto knife, because if you don't go around the paint in the tape after you paint it, there's the possibility when you're pulling the tape off, you'll also pull the paint in the clear coat off. So it's always good to trace it out with your X-Acto knife afterwards. So that's what I'm going to do. And when I do this, because I will be using canned spray paint, I'm going to make sure everything on the front of the truck is taped off, covered, so I don't get any overspray on anything. Now it's time to black out the front Ford badge. I already had matte black vinyl on here, and it just looked terrible because the vinyl adhesive was very stiff, wasn't very flexible at all. And because this is convexed, Ford letters are raised, the ring right here is raised, the blue parts are recessed. So when you put the vinyl on, in the vinyl that I bought, the package says make sure you keep the vinyl taut, but as soon as you start pulling on it, it'll pull out of these recesses, and then also around the letters. And you can use a squeegee to get it to adhere, but it just pops right back out. So now I'm going to paint it and leave the Ford chrome and then paint all of the rest black. Now in this case, there would be a whole lot more work involved in trying to remove the badge. I would prefer to remove the badge to paint it, but the amount of work that would be required is just not worth it. I'm just gonna clean it up real good, put tape on it, and then proceed to painting it. And I will be using high temp matte black and some clear coat specifically for vehicles, and see how it comes out. Here is the tailgate badge. Yes, my truck is dirty. It rains so much here, it's hard to keep it clean. But this is the badge. I did this probably 5 or 6 months ago. It still looks pretty good. There's no chipping, peeling, flaking, none of that. So I'm hoping that the front badge turns out the same way.